Now we see this awful video, which is more than 8 years old. And yet Diddy has still not been charged with anything. I would think there would be grounds for his arrest in that video. Why hasn't he been charged with anything?
Especially after, the infamous video from 2016 was released. Everybody saw it. That has to be evidence, right? Yes and no. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is your man, Brandon Geo, one half of Residual Impact. And yo, the saga continues. No pun intended. Here we are still talking about, Diddy's situation and recent updates that have come out and everything that's been going on. For starters, one thing that I've noticed quite often, whether looking at tweets online, because, he was trending for quite some time on Twitter, or, looking at comments on Instagram or even comments under our own videos, people want to know, why isn't he arrested yet? Why is he still walking free? Especially after, the infamous video from 2016 was released. Everybody saw it. Why is he still walking free? That has to be evidence, right? Yes and no. It is evidence. However, there is what's called a statute of limitations. And since that took place in the state of California, they have a certain statute of limitations on how quickly they can arrest somebody due to some criminal acts. So to explain a little bit further, I did see this from CNN and they were talking about it. So let's go ahead and check that video out and we could talk about it a little bit more.
Let's discuss this with CNN's John Miller and Julie K. Brown, a Miami Herald investigative journalist who's been following this story, also best known perhaps for her work pursuing the Jeffrey Epstein sex trafficking story. So, John, Cassie filed her lawsuit in November. The feds raided Diddy's home in March. Now we see this awful video, which is more than 8 years old. And yet Diddy has still not been charged with anything. I would think there would be grounds for his arrest in that video. Why hasn't he been charged with anything?
Well, the video is out of the statute of limitations. The statute of limitations in California for a simple assault is a year. For domestic violence assault, it was 3 years. They've moved that up to 5 years. But this is out of range for a state charge in California. However, let's get back to that federal investigation. What HSI, Homeland Security Investigations, is doing, as Elizabeth framed it, is they are building a racketeering case, a RICO case based on human trafficking and allegations startlingly similar that track those that have been made in Cassie Ventura's lawsuit and in the lawsuit by another individual who worked for Combs that tell these stories of people being brought in the presence of weapons and drugs and so on. It's very much like what they did in the R. Kelly case, which got him 30 years in prison. So this charge, even though it's state crime is out of the statute of limitations, would be fair game in that federal case.
So, statute of limitations. As you can see from what the gentleman said on CNN, 5 years for a DV situation. This video is 8 years old, so it's definitely out of the statute of limitations for a state charge from California, which of course is where this took place. However, like he also mentioned, the feds are building a RICO case against him. So let's see, what's going to happen in this situation as far as what the feds are going to be able to do. But of course, they have to build their case first. They're not going to be able to react so quickly just based on this Cassie video. They have to compile evidence. We've talked about RICO cases on this channel before, especially everything that's been going on with Young Thug and, with the YSL trial. We talked about it in several episodes, but they're building one against Diddy as well. So let's see what happens. Only time will tell. And, hey, this just goes to show you, no matter how much money you have, you're definitely not untouchable. So let's continue.
Julie, Cassie's lawsuit claims that hotel security staff saw what was happening on the surveillance and they urged her to go home. The lawsuit then claims that Diddy paid $50,000 to get that footage from hallway security. CNN has reached out to the hotel for comment, not a hotel I'll ever want to stay at. How serious would it be if they witnessed an assault, did not report it, and then accepted money to basically disappear the security footage?
Well, there's certainly a question of negligence on the hotel's part. And by the way, this just didn't happen in a hotel in LA. These kinds of incidents have been happening in hotels in Manhattan and in Miami Beach as well. So there presumably could be other video, because all these hotels have cameras. There presumably could be other video out there. And in addition, a couple of the other lawsuits that have been filed against him allege that that there is video evidence. And that is exactly what authorities were trying to get their hands on when they conducted their searches of his homes in Miami Beach and in California and LA.
So allegedly, according to Cassie's lawsuit against Diddy, Diddy paid the hotel 50 bands to get a copy of that footage, or to get the only copy of that hotel footage so that it never saw the light of day. And it's only coming out now, most likely due in part to the feds raiding one of Diddy's homes back in March of this year. So maybe they leaked the footage to CNN, which is interesting. I guess to kind of get the ball rolling as far as the court of public opinion goes. But hey, let's continue.
John, assuming that Sean Combs, Diddy, is eventually charged, how important might this video be?
Well, it's going to be very important to the assault charge. It's going to be very important to the credibility of Cassie Ventura as a witness. Remember, when she brought that lawsuit, Ben Brafman, Combs' lawyer, called it baseless, outrageous lies from somebody looking for a payday, claimed that she had tried to blackmail them, that she demanded $30 million. That video is stunningly supportive of her credibility, of her allegations. It unfolds exactly as she charged it did in her lawsuit. So it will help her if she becomes a witness in that case, and it will probably be a chargeable offense in the federal case if and when it comes.
Julie, the allegations against Diddy go far beyond Cassie's story, of course. Multiple lawsuits filed in the past year claim that Diddy hosted what he called freak-offs, sex parties so brutal that the young men and women would sometimes vomit and pass out from being drugged. They would be beaten. They would be raped. They alleged that Diddy filmed it and directed his staff to change lighting or bedding to better display the people who were performing for him sexually. These are allegations. Does this remind you at all of the Jeffrey Epstein sex trafficking case? And how did they get away with it?
Well, remember, the Jeffrey Epstein case happened decades ago, so they didn't have cell phones, for example, or this kind of recording technology. So we're far ahead of that in this. And even though they have some of that material, I'm sure what they're also going to look for is bank accounts, evidence that he paid people, including people that provided him with underage victims. And that's really the key here, is whether they're going to be able to show that he also was engaged with sex trafficking minors, which is a very far more serious crime because of, their age, and also the fact that he has all this, other video evidence that he was allegedly committing these kinds of offenses.
Julie K. Brown and John Miller, thanks to both of you.
So there you have it. This report, of course, was from several days ago as of this recording. However, like I said before, the questions are being asked. Why isn't he behind bars yet? Well, there's your answer. Of course, among some other things, there's still more that's most likely going to come out. Each and every single day, new people who are relatively close to him in proximity, whether they're directly connected with him or they might have seen him or spoken to him in passing or something like that, because of their celebrities themselves. They've been speaking out on it. I know 50 Cent spoken out on it. Kelly Price spoke out on this. Charleston White, Whack 100. So many celebrities have talked about this already. So, maybe I'll react to some of their reactions. I'm not sure yet, but stay tuned, because, this definitely isn't over. So comment down below. I want to hear your thoughts and opinions on everything that, you heard from today's video, everything that these people had to say from CNN. And, how do you think things should play out? So we definitely appreciate you watching, taking the time out of your busy day to watch this video. And, we can't leave without saying where you are today is a residual outcome of the thoughts you had in the past. Till next time, ladies and gentlemen, peace.